Welcome everybody to episode 25 of Healing Vibrations. This is the show where we aim to change perspective of illness, to see it as a gift. And this evening I'm very excited to be joined by the wonderful and inspiring Holly Haag, who has reversed a plethora of conditions that she's had the challenges to overcome, and she's going to tell us a bit about that today. So the Detox Queen and owner of the Healing Hall, I'd love to introduce you to Holly Haag. So thank you for joining me, Holly.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is such a blessing, and I love the work you're doing. It's just magical watching you and your vibrant face and expressions and positive messages. So I enjoy being on here.
Thank you so much. And we've been in a similar space for a little while, haven't we, really?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've and I'm going to incorporate you in that. Is like we've managed to find the gift in all these challenges of illnesses. And would you say that you have?
Oh, most definitely. I would say I was a shell of a person prior to getting diagnosed, because I was just barely getting by, barely living because of all my symptoms. So it was such a blessing, and not just a gift to me, a gift to my family, a gift to the people I've touched. So it's a gift to everybody that gets the message that healing is possible, because I think we're all told that it's not. I think we all have similar stories, and that we were told there's nothing you can do. There's nothing, you're stuck with this incurable disease, and that's just not true.
And you were also a speaker on the Symptom-Free MS Summit, weren't you? Which and one of the 20 plus people that had been diagnosed with MS that are living symptom-free. So it was a really exciting thing. I don't know what you thought about it, but I certainly felt it's a really exciting thing to be part of, recognizing that actually the more people we can get to share their stories, the more possible it feels for everybody else, because it is possible.
Yes. I was so excited that Matt put that on. I'm a personal friend of Matt's. He sort of met me sort of closer to the beginning of my journey. So we became friends, and I took a couple of his classes, and he's just a great person. He has his own great message. And when he put this together, I was so excited. I was a little kid watching all of you. I watched every single one. I'm like, oh, I can learn from this too. I want to know what they know. So it was exciting for me as well.
Cool. Yeah, it was exciting. And everyone that I listened to, and I think I've pretty much got to listen to all of them, was, wow, this is, even just having a list of all the speakers was a powerful message, I think.
Yeah.
To demonstrate.
Yeah, I mean, all of us that came together that have that message that, hey, there's a solution. That's powerful. That is so powerful. And there's more of us that weren't on there. So just knowing that, I think, gives people hope that maybe definitely. I can heal. Yeah.
Definitely. So yours was MS, but it was also, I'm looking at what you sent me, it wasn't just MS, was it? So when did you first start noticing symptoms then?
So I didn't know they were symptoms, but looking back, I was about 7 or 8, and I started to have digestion issues and acid reflux and heartburn. So looking back, that would be like the start of, I guess, what you would call a symptom. But I didn't really notice something was wrong until I was 19. And I noticed I was having issues around sugar. And I went to go test. They said, of course, I looked normal. My test came back normal. So I was fine, but I didn't feel normal, and it wouldn't always happen, but there were certain times when I would eat sugar by itself. So it wouldn't be like if I ate it after a meal or after eating something else, I would be fine. But if I ate it by itself, I called it a diabetic coma, even though I didn't have diabetes, because I would crash. Like I had no option but to take a nap. Wow. And that nap would be 4 hours long. Oh, and I'm 19, you know, that's not normal. And then when I'd wake up, my whole body would just shake. I just shake really, really bad. And the doctors really had nothing for me. Like, you're normal, don't eat sugar. That's it. Yeah. So, and they refused to test me. I didn't really suspect MS at that point, but after I had children, my symptoms really started to show up. So my first child was with my first husband when I had him right when I turned 24. So my birthday is December 16th. I had him on the 23rd, December 23rd. So I just turned 24, and I started to have major depression, the psychosis type of depression. And I think that was mainly from the medication they put me on. Right. But that was real bad. Then I started to have weight issues. I never had weight issues before. Then I started to get what I called eye migraines. So all these symptoms started sneaking in, bladder issues. But still, I didn't really, I thought, oh, I gained too much weight. You know, that's what they kept blaming it on. Oh, you're overweight. But they couldn't explain why I gained the weight either. So it was very frustrating. And then I worked my butt off. It was as if I was training for a triathlon or a marathon. And I say that with good intent. Like it was, I did that much work.
Mm-hmm. So you were like working out, fitness, you mean?
Yeah. So I was hiking mountains twice a day, and I got to the point where like the weight would just sort of stop falling off. It took me a year, but a year of doing like a lot of work.
Extreme work.
So then I started running up the mountain. Then that didn't work. So then I put a 20-pound weight vest on and ran up the mountain and ran down the mountain. So it was intense. And on top of that, I'm going to the gym, I'm running, I'm biking, I'm doing all this other stuff. So it was a lot of work. And the doctors again, oh, well, you're losing weight. I went like, hey, why is it this hard? It shouldn't be this hard. Like, I shouldn't have to do all of this. What am I missing? But they didn't ever have answers for me. And it wasn't really until I got pregnant again that then I was asking, hey, can you test me for MS? My mother had MS. My great grandmother, she had MS, and then she was later diagnosed with Alzheimer's and lupus. Right. Can I get tested? And they refuse to test me. They throw that 2% out there. Well, it's only a 2% chance. Okay, well, I'm having symptoms, but none of them to the doctors were neurological. Right. So bladder issues must be because you were pregnant so many times. They just excused everything. I kept checking my thyroid because my thyroid wasn't, I'm like, gosh, it has to be a thyroid, because that's what the doctors kept telling me. Weight issues are your thyroid, is always normal. The only thing they caught, which was before I actually had my first child, was I had cysts on my ovaries. Right, but they didn't diagnose me with PCOS. So, which I obviously had, because I had all this, I obviously had it. So, it was a very frustrating 20 years of symptoms that got worse and worse and worse until one day I woke up. I was barely walking. My knee felt like it was going the wrong way. I'd been diagnosed with arthritis in my right knee, plantar fasciitis in one foot, then the other foot.
So what's plantar fasciitis? What's that?
So that's where the foot, the part of the foot is not working correctly. It's inflamed.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it feels like you have a little rock inside your foot that you're stepping on.
Oh.
Very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
No.
So it and still, you know, they wouldn't test me until my face went numb. So half of my face went numb. Then they still denied that I had MS. So then finally I get to the neurologist and he's like, yeah, you probably just have a pinched nerve. You need to lose weight again, you know, the same thing. And then my results come back and he calls me and tells me, I'm sorry, you have MS. Calls me and tells me over the phone. My daughters were playing a game, so they're next to me. I just break down crying for so many reasons, because one, I saw my great grandmother die basically from complications of the neurological diseases she had. Right. And then my mother, I saw get better, but also like just thinking, oh my gosh, like, you know, what is going on? Why would I get it? You know, you guys promised me the 2%. Sorry. You know, you promised the 2%, you know, like this is more than a 2%. If every family member, you know, if each generation we're getting the same disease.
You'd think they'd put a bit of, yeah, they put the pieces together a bit better than what they did. So you had 20 years of symptoms, plus you had history in your family, and then they tell you over the phone that you got what you were most frightened of. Yep.
So you know, and I allowed myself that first week, I allowed myself to be depressed, I allowed myself to be angry, to be confused, to be upset. And then my friend, she recommended this book, The Plant Paradox, which she's like, maybe you should try this diet. I heard this works. And so I tried it, and I'm like, okay, I'm fighting this. I'm going to do this, you know? So I went into it. I'm very competitive. I used to do competitive sports. So I looked at it almost like a game, like, okay, I'm going to win. I'm winning at this. I'm going to win. I'm going to find out, like, I have an advantage because I have a family history. So I can figure this out. We passed something down.
So you almost clicked then and thought, no, this is it. This isn't, I'm not going to take this prognosis of I can't do anything about this.
Nope. And I started researching everything known to cause multiple sclerosis. And I happened upon things I didn't even know were tied to multiple sclerosis. So that's the reverse curve of the neck, which I had. When I went to a chiropractor, my neck was literally curving the wrong way.
Oh, right. Okay.
And that lowers it pinches on the nerves, which then whatever nerves those are pinching on, it lessens the flow to the organs that they lead to. So then when one organ isn't functioning, or a couple organs aren't functioning, the rest of them are not going to function properly, because the body works as a whole. So I researched that. I went to a chiropractor. I started treatment to put my neck back, and put it back the way it's supposed to go. I researched mercury. My parents, they had, I mean, I didn't really, but they had bad teeth. So they had amalgam fillings that contain mercury. They had root canals. Those contain mercury. So I'm like, okay, did we pass mercury on? You know, I started researching it all. I ended up I tested my heavy metals. I had 6 of them, and mercury was one of them, and they were at toxic levels. Wow. So I started to pull those out.
But how can you do that then?
So I did it with I'm not a huge fan, but I used the medical medium. His protocols are actually good. I mean, they're good for the body. I don't follow that EBV causes multiple sclerosis, because I know autoimmunity starts in your gut. It doesn't start with the virus. So I started doing his heavy metal detox smoothie, and it's actually very gentle. It's very gentle. It pulls them out. I then later learned about food grade diatomaceous earth. I started using that. That pulls
Sorry,
it out.
can you repeat that? You then found out about?
Yes. I then found food grade diatomaceous earth, or DE.
Right.
You use it in pools and stuff, but the food grade is used for food mostly. So it's a white powder. It comes from the earth, and it will bond and bind to the heavy metals and pull them out of your body.
Okay.
It also scrubs your intestines. So it has many benefits. It also is beneficial to your bones and your calcium levels and all that. So it's it has multiple purposes for your body. And then later I hired Dr. Jeremy Lamb, my functional doctor, and he had his own protocol because there were still heavy metals in my body. So because we retested. And the mercury.
How do you test for heavy metals then? Is this something you got to get through your doctor?
You don't. There's tests. I actually have one on my Facebook page under the topics. There's a link there for the US and the UK. So there's one, and it's a hair test. So if you don't want to cut your hair, it's probably not the one, but it will go over a 3-month period. The hair will detect heavy metals within that 3 months.
Oh, brilliant. And that's on your Facebook page, is it?
Yes. And there's a link. And my Facebook page is Quick 5 with Hall.
Oh, yes.
HOL, like my name, Holly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll put the link underneath so people can get there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So there's a test there. It's affordable. It's only, I think it's $108. So that's the one it's not called heavy metal. It's called something else, but it's $108, and you'll know because you read the description, and that's the one. So it's affordable because some of these are not affordable. So I started with that one. Then you can test it through blood, and you can test it through urine. Urine's going to tell you what right now is in your right at the moment, what is in your body. And that's what Dr. Lamb had me do, was the urine test, since I had already done the hair sample one. So there's different ways to test for the heavy metals, and it's something really I'm finding. I mean, I like the idea of test, don't guess, but a lot of these people can't afford it. They can't afford all these tests. So
and then you've got to do something with the results. So if you discover you've got heavy metal, then what? And then you've almost got, do you need to test again after you've done the protocol in order to check that it's out? Or can you tell, do you feel different?
So you'll start to feel better. You'll feel different. For me, I could feel the mercury move in my head. It was like on this left side that my face went numb. And when I started the diatomaceous earth, I could feel after I took it move. And it was the craziest feeling, because we're told nothing can pass the brain blood barrier, but that's just simply not true. What happens is, especially with pathogens, the white blood cells, they'll enter the white blood cells and they just go right on in. So we're carrying them right into our brain area. So, and the body's doing that to protect you. So it will encapsulate the heavy metal. It'll encapsulate. And that's actually a lot of the issues with fat. If you're holding on to fat will also encapsulate viruses, toxins, and hold them like a little bubble. So that way it doesn't destroy your organs. So there's a reason your body's doing that.
Right. So when you decided to sort of go down your own route, really, you started with diets. Just trying to sort of piece it together. Then you had to look at the heavy metals that were in your gut and in your bloodstream. So what was your next steps then? Did you think that was it then? or did you?
Oh no, that was the beginning. And I want to add with the heavy metals, when you start detoxing a lot, that test will skyrocket up because there's a way more than that initial test shows. Because what the body does is it pushes it into the bone, it pushes it into the fat, it pushes it into all these areas that a test won't be able to really measure until you start moving it. Once you start moving those metals, then you're going to get the true numbers.
Wow.
So not that you need to know them though. You know, I mean, you really,
yeah,
you just know I
you
got the metals in me. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's not necessary to sort of test yourself every day or anything, apart from if you have access. And it was, so is that something you can do on your own, or because you said you mentioned working with Dr. Lamb,
So yes, I did that on my own. And really the protocols we did, he had me do activated charcoal and bentonite clay. So really these are all things you can get on your own and you can do on your own. Just be aware that you have to go gently, you have to go slow. And there is the Herxheimer reaction to detoxing, which will make you much worse. So that's why we want to go low and slow to avoid that reaction, because it's quite brutal if you put your body into that stress, because that's what it is. It's overstressed when it goes into a Herxheimer reaction.
But it sounds like you know loads about all this stuff now.
I do.
I'm very knowledgeable. I'm sitting here going, I'm just totally talking over my head. I'm writing down some words that I haven't quite pronounced. So if people want, do you help people now? What sort of work are you doing now? So you're helping people through a similar process?
Yes. So I just started. I've helped people actually throughout my journey, but just on the side for free. It wasn't like a client type, relationship.
It wasn't a business.
No. And so now I just opened, really the summit pushed me into, oh, maybe I should do this, because I can't do this for free for everybody. So I'm offering for a couple more weeks free consultation. It's a free half an hour to pick my brain. So I will talk to you about whatever you want to talk about for 30 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to be posting services. So then you can hire me. I almost like a health coach. I'm getting licensed in that. So then I will have a license. But it's more like a health support. So I can help you through it. I know all the protocols on how to get the heavy metals, the molds, all the things out of your body.
Parasites. How did you know you got a parasite?
Oh, so the parasites, I knew I got bit by a tick before my face went numb. So,
so you just piece things together.
Yes. So the Lyme, and Lyme is another one that's heavily associated with MS. So I went down that road, but nothing really actually fit. I'm like, gosh, not everybody fits into Lyme. Not everybody fits into EBV. Not everybody fits into mercury. So I knew there was something that we all shared, and these were just pieces. But with the Lyme, the testing they have now is insufficient. It does not work. There's such a small window that will show an accurate positive Lyme test.
Right.
So to get the proper testing, you have to go to a Lyme specialist in functional medicine. I would not go to a Western type doctor for that type of testing, because they really don't acknowledge what Lyme is, and they really don't know about it. And that's just the truth about it. But I didn't do the testing. I bought a sauna. That's how I found out I had parasites. Right. So I bought a sauna through Therasage, can't say it.
So what's that?
It's an infrared sauna. And the man that made it basically was told for his daughter that had chronic Lyme that there was nothing else they could do. Like, that was it. They didn't have any other options, and he wasn't going to take that as an answer, and he didn't give up. So then he built up this company once he was able to heal his daughter. from this chronic Lyme. So I liked his story. I liked his products. So he sent me one of his infrared saunas. And man, that was an eye opener. So I get into the sauna and I'm not sweating at this point. That was one of my other symptoms. I was extremely hot and cold sensitive. And if I was out in the sun, my skin was literally starting to blister, not like we burnt my skin. Like I went out and it started to blister. So that's what was happening. No sweat. So I'm like, okay, this fixed his daughter. Maybe it'll fix me. I started at the lowest temperature for the shortest amount of time. And my very first sauna, I come out and there is this absolutely horrid smell that is coming off of my skin. It was just absolutely disgusting smelling. I've never smelt it before. It smelled like death. If you've ever, like a dead animal on the road or something, like it was just absolutely, I can't even explain it. So, I'm then on all the pages because at this point I'm already suspecting mold. I'm suspecting the Lyme. I'm on all these pages.
So you've gone I'm imagining, like, I could almost see in my head all these masses of rabbit holes you're going down, burrowing down. Oh, look what I found! Look what I found! It's like, oh my goodness, you really have gone through it. And how long did all this process take you?
So my symptoms started to go away about 4 months, but all the detoxing and the whole process took about 2 years, and I'm still not done because I still have insulin resistance. So there's still pieces that I'm trying to figure out because I eat extremely clean. Like here's my black fully vegetable smoothie. So it's like, why would my body be holding on to this weight still? So there's still answers that I need for that part.
No wonder you call yourself the Detox Queen. It's what you don't know about detoxing is probably, well, if there is anything you don't know, I'm sure you'll go down that rabbit hole and find it out anyway.
Yeah. So that's how I found out that I had parasites, though, is one of the mold pages told me, she's like, you got parasites. And so then I treated it. And yeah, I did. I had parasites. I had lots of parasites.
So when you treat the parasites, because I don't know much about parasites, but in my head it's sort of tapewormy type thing. So almost like these little worms squealing out of you. Can you see the parasites? Can you see them?
So a lot of them you cannot see because they're microscopic, but the ones you can see look like little teeny grains of rice or smaller. There'll be little teeny white dots. And then the worms that I ended up having as well, you can see those and they're much bigger. So I said roundworm, but it wasn't, it's not because it was more, I had to guess what kind of worm I had too, because I wasn't going to save it and take it to somebody. But I did have definitely I had the fluke worms because the pictures match up. They're identical. And those can live in you for 30 years.
Wow. So
they can camp out for a long time. But those were quite large. Those, were 4 inches. Some of those were a little bit bigger. And then what I'm calling a roundworm, which probably is something completely different, but that was over 12 inches long.
And you actually saw that come out your stool or something, did it?
Yeah, I saw that. So the one, I do coffee enemas after each water fast. I do 4 3-day water fasts every year.
Right. Wow.
And then I end it with a coffee enema. So I did the coffee. This is my very first coffee enema way back when. I treated the parasites, wasn't even anticipating anything, and that was sort of a gross, funny story. So I had never done a coffee enema before.
No, I haven't done one either. I'm thinking as we're talking, maybe I need to book in your 30-minute consultation with you, Holly. Yeah. I don't know, but part of it's like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. It's all a bit yucky.
So I didn't know all the ins and outs of how to do one really. I just went for it, and I had an accident. So
I have done enemas before, but not with coffee, just with water. Yeah,
yeah.
I've had an accident as well.
Yeah, I did not make it to the toilet. So
Then
that
you've got
was
to
my
do a lot of
mistake.
cleaning.
Yeah. So I saw what came out, and that's when I saw the fluke worms. I was like, what is that?
Oh my God.
And yeah. So
That was
I'm
weird.
like, it was gross and weird. And yeah, I was shocked because I definitely didn't know you could have, I heard of tapeworms, but I didn't know about all these other ones.
No.
So it was quite disgusting. And then later I did a liver cleanse. And that's when I didn't get a picture of that one because I was at a store. So I wasn't going to be weird and like go run and get my phone, leave the poop in the toilet and go take a picture. Like, what do you do? Like, just save my poop for me, please.
I love this conversation. Can I have a poop bag, please?
But that one was wrapped around, and I just put my shoe up. I wear a size 11 in women's, and so I put my shoe up to it to gauge how long it was, because that was massive. So that was after a liver cleanse.
Wow. So I'm taking it after these worms have gone.
Yeah.
What difference has that made to how you feel?
So it increased my liver function. So a lot of what's happening with autoimmunity is there is definitely a stress on the organs, and the liver is overtaxed. So doing the liver cleanses, it also cleans your gallbladder, cleaning the kidneys, doing those types of things are going to increase the function of those organs and help you detox better and help your body run smoother. So I noticed a huge improvement in my skin. I noticed just better energy, better sleeping. I mean, it really just improved everything. Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Yes. And then I looked into mold. I had 4 molds in my body. I mean, so I went down and looked into every little thing that could have made me sick.
And you found a lot.
And I found it all. Yeah.
Wow. So that's just incredible, really, that all that stuff's going on inside of us, and we don't know. And also that actually our doctors don't look.
They don't look.
Their tests, because if you've been able to find them and have them done, you think, well, actually that's probably easier than the test that they take us through to find out we've got lesions on our brain with MS, the lumbar puncture and the MRI and all that sort of stuff. Whereas these things, you almost don't need the diagnosis of MS if you can get to the root cause and get rid.
Yes, exactly. And with what I find, I don't know if you watched William.
Yes.
Yes.
William Dickinson. Yeah.
So that is what I also gravitate to what he's saying. So leaky gut is what is driving these autoimmune diseases. We're forming antibodies to food, to parasites, to viruses, because they're getting through into the bloodstream where they're not supposed to. So the stomach is supposed to be this guard, that we eat, we take what we need, we get rid of
what you don't. Yeah.
And when we open it up, that's when these problems lie. That's when the overactive immune system goes. And then that's where your genetics really play a part too, because that's when those gene expressions are going to be turned on. Yep, because I had an unknown celiac disease that I caught. I had horrible skin issues for years and years and years. And there's psoriatic arthritis that popped
Wow.
up. So there's the skin issues. My knee, they had through MRI had diagnosed the arthritis years ago, but then I find out, oh, you have markers for rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
So
Okay. So you've got it all going on, really. You've got a whole list of things here. Yeah.
yep. So there wasn't just one, and I wasn't tested, but I'm positive that I probably also had markers for lupus. So, and that's the autoimmune disease that attacks your organs. So it'll start
Right. Yeah.
attacking one, then the other, or just really attack one. So it's and that's what happens when you don't know that you have one autoimmune disease. It'll then lead to another, and then another, and
Right,
another.
okay. So now when you're helping your clients, is it just taking them through the detoxing, or do you work with other aspects of it as well?
I like to do a full body approach. So there's always a mental component. I like to do just a positivity exercise. I like them to find their core values. So I take them through and ask them on, their negative thinking. Who would you be without that thought? Who would you be? Like, who could you be today? And why aren't we changing that? And I really like the work from Byron Katie, where we turn the messages around and we find out why we're holding on to them. Because I came from trauma. So I definitely understand trauma. I understand living with it for years after it has passed. So going in and trying to rework that so that way we're not holding on to these negative messages that were imprinted on us that aren't ours. They were transferred from the person that hurt us. So I like to do a little bit of mental health, I guess that is, and spiritual. And then I also I like to treat the whole body. So what is your background? Do you have heavy metal exposure? Do you have, what got in you? Let's work on your gut while we're getting the rest of the stuff out, because that's something, the stomach lining, the mucosa thins as we age. So it's something we really should be daily treating. We should daily be supporting that layer. Even though we get a new one in 4 days, it's, do you want to be miserable for 4 if you open it up again,
So how can we treat that? What do you mean by treating that?
So I follow Ayurveda medicine practices. I think they're beautiful, their culture, and they follow the circadian rhythm of life. So not just in a day, in life, in their food, in their practices. And they have a really great tincture you can make at home that I love. And it's licorice root, marshmallow root, and slippery elm. So you make your own, and then
where do you get these things from?
I've taken lots of classes.
Wow. Okay. So do you make those up for your clients as well, or?
I could make it, but I would depending on where they're at, they'd probably want to make it themselves, because it'd have to stay refrigerated. And
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can teach people how to make it, can you?
Yeah. So I'm sure I could make it. Like, if you were local, I could definitely make it for you. And I'm sure there's a way to make it in alcohol that would be more of a tincture that could be shipped. But the one I make is in water, so it would go bad. Right.
Okay. So yeah. So where do you actually get like the roots and stuff from then? If I wanted to make my own.
I have quite a few local health food stores that one of them, actually, the woman that owns the store makes her own roots. She's a herbalist.
Oh, okay. So it's just a matter of really rooting out your local you see what I did there? Yeah, your local health food shops, I guess. And I'm just thinking we've got an organic shop in town, so that might be worth asking what they do. And And I think as I'm talking here, it's like it started off as quite a gross conversation about worms and enema accidents, moving on into a world that almost like we didn't even know existed, world of herbalists and tinctures and using plants as medicines, which feels like quite an exciting little rabbit hole to go down to me, and to meet people in your local area who's doing a similar sort of thing, connect with people locally.
Yes, and it's nice to be around like-minded people with like-minded energies that you can share and bounce thoughts off of. So it's great just to be part of that community, even if you don't need anything at the moment, just so that way you can get to know the people around you that might have good information for you. You know, like I was able to find actual lion's mane mushroom through a vendor, you know, so so I eat the mushroom by itself, you know, I get the whole mushroom. So it's good to get connected to those type of people, because when I first started, I was going to do it all myself. It's just going to be me, you know, I was going to tackle this just me. And I quickly realized that I needed these functional doctors that I took their classes. I needed their books. I needed the talks. I needed the community. I needed the spiritual side where we're supposed to connect and have that human connection with others. So it's beautiful to be able to share a similar interest and health, and then also be able to have a beautiful conversation or just a touch, you know, and share that intimacy with another human.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think what the summit brought up for me, and I know because I'm in a very similar space to you, where we know self-healing is possible. And now it's just working out that jigsaw that works for us, isn't it? We've all got different challenges, different symptoms, different root causes, if you like. But it's so amazing to be able to share what you're doing, because it's such an interesting, you've just done so much with regarding to the detoxing and how that's helped you, but also married that up with the releasing of trauma and keeping your brain in a healthy place rather than letting yourself go down any really negative rabbit warrens, and that definitely helps with hanging around with like-minded people who think that actually you're not absolutely bonkers for doing these crazy things, but it's actually, you know, worthwhile and really interesting. And actually, why wouldn't you? Because who wants like strange creatures living in our bodies that aren't helping us? I know we've all got strange creatures live, but you want a nice healthy relationship with your strange creatures, and not ones that they're not helping.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I love the work you do, because it really starts with the belief and the thought that you can heal. And it really starts with changing your mindset and not allowing those negative thoughts in. They come in and you just, nope, you don't even entertain them. You say, nope, I'm healing. You just have a new thought that goes right and replaces that negative one. Because once you can do that, once you conquer your mind, there's nothing that is going to stop you.
No, I'd agree. And it's like, and I've done lots of work on that, but still continue. So I don't know about you, but at the moment, I feel like I'm riding a bit of a wave. Things seem to be going really well, but then I know sometimes it can just feel like a veil of self-doubt comes over you and you think, what? And then it's just recognizing that actually it's part of, you're not going to be on a continual wave. You're going to go up and down and round and round and in and out, and that's all part of it as well.
Yep. And you know, it's funny because when I first had one of those lulls, it was when I started my Quick 5 with Hall Facebook page, and I didn't know what I was doing really. I just knew I needed to, there's this fire in me that said I needed to share that healing was possible, that I needed to get that message out. So, and I still don't have a ton of people. I have, a little over 500 people on my page. It's not a huge page, but I also don't fish for people. I don't go put plugs in a lot of, every once in a while I'll do it. Yeah. But, I then got a message from a woman saying, you really helped me. And so every time I had those insecurities or those thoughts, like, what are you doing? Yeah. You don't know what you're doing.
You get a little nudge to say it's worthwhile.
You're doing good. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah. And then it kept me going.
Yeah. So cool. So that's Quick 5 with Hol. Is that your Facebook group? Yeah. So, and again, I'll share the links in that. So we're coming up to sort of nearly the end of our hour, and you said you promised you'd share a little exercise with us, because I like to share something that we can take away to help calm our nervous system, because, as you know, that's very important in order to get us to enable our bodies to heal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And what I'm going to share with you today might not seem like a calming, but it is. And it is from Tai Chi. I love my Tai Chi class. And this exercise will open up and wake up your intestines. So I start with, do you want me to start now? Okay.
Yeah, you're ready.
So I like to start with a simple box breathing. So if you want to close your eyes, you can, and you breathe in and you hold for 5 seconds. Breathe through your nose, breathe in, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you release through your mouth, and also holding that for 5 seconds. So release, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then breathe in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 3 more of these. Breathe in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are done with that part. If you want to keep your eyes closed, you're going to make 2 fists with your hands, and you're going to bang your lower stomach right underneath your belly button. And you're just going to alternate your hands, banging each part of your stomach. And you're going to want to do this. Make sure you're breathing, because sometimes it gets hard to do both things. And this is going to wake up your intestines. This is a good exercise to do if you're waiting at a red light in a car. It's good to wake your body up before you eat anything, and just banging those intestines, waking them up. This is also right where there is a chakra right at your belly button. I think it's your root chakra. I'm not well versed on the chakras yet, so I think that's the root.
I think the belly button one is your solar plexus.
Your solar plexus. Thank you. So see, I'm I still have to read that book. So we're just, we bang on our stomach, and it's just waking those intestines up, saying, thank you, intestines. We're thanking our intestines. We're waking them up. We're saying hello. I talk to my body. So I'll talk to my intestines. I'll talk to my digestive system. I will talk to my skin and my gut bugs and my skin bugs. So I like to tell my intestines, thank you for being here. Thank you for waking up. Thank you for being strong for me. Thank you for healing. Just giving some gratitude to the organ that is giving us nourishment. And I know this can be sort of monotonous, but we do this for a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And this just wakes up. This is also called womb healing and other practices other than Tai Chi. This will help. I have had personally some miscarriages. So in the beginning, this was a very emotional process for me to go through because I didn't feel anything down there. And so I had to wake up my womb. So this will also wake up your womb. There's a page for womb healing. And this is a good practice for anybody that has had any trauma around those organs down there. So it will just bring good positive energy to the area. And we're just accepting and feeling any emotions that arise. We're accepting and acknowledging any feelings that we have, any physical pains or any tightness. We're just being aware of our organs in our stomach area. If there is any discomfort or pain, we're acknowledging it. We're saying, thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for showing me that there's pain here. Thank you for showing me that I have emotions that I need to work on. Thank you for supporting my body. And then we're going to end it. We're going to now take our palms and rub them together really fast. Get that warm energy. And if you're by yourself, you can put it directly on your skin. Lift your shirt up. And then we're just going to place this on the lower part of our abdomen. And we're going to just slowly rub it back to our back and back to the front and rub it to the back. Just doing that quite a few times, putting the palms to the front and pulling them back to your back. And this is our own healing energy that we have. We all have healing energy within us, and we can heal our own bodies with our own energy by redirecting the energy to the area that we want to focus on. So this is bringing that healing energy down to our lower abdomen. And then we're going to rub our hands together one more time, feeling that heat within your hands. And then I like to expand the hand without touching and bringing it together and expand, and then bring it close together without touching. Expand, bring it together. Feel that energy that you have within you. It's almost magnetic. And then we're going to take that big ball of energy. We're going to grab it and we're going to place it right there on that lower abdomen. And we're going to internalize that energy and we're going to accept that energy into our body and allow that energy to heal us, to heal our stomach. And we're going to take one deep breath in. And when we release the breath, we're going to let out all the negative energy that we have within our body. We're just going to say goodbye to it. We don't need you anymore. And blow it out. We'll do this 4 more times. Breathe in positive energy and out with negative. So in. And say goodbye to all the negative that's in our body. Say, we don't need you right now. Thank you for being here. You always want to thank the negative because it teaches you a lesson. It always teaches you a lesson, so it's never bad. So we're going to breathe in again. Positive energy. Then we're going to breathe out and thank the negative energy for being there for its purpose. Thank you, negative energy. And 2 more. Breathe in. Positive energy, positive thoughts, healing body. Then we're going to breathe out all the negative. Always thanking it. Thank you for your purpose. And last one. Breathe in. Positive energy. And breathe out all the negative. Thank you, negative energy. And now you may open your eyes.
Wow, thank you. I've never done anything like that with my
I have all the different stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think that whole idea of, I do a bit of that myself with regarding to thanking your body, because our bodies do so much with us not even having to think about it, don't they? You know, our blood's pumping around our bodies, our lungs are filling with air and letting out. So it's nice to actually focus on how amazing they are, because especially if you're living with symptoms or long-term illness or something, it can feel sometimes that your body's not doing a great job, but it is.
Well, yeah. and I'd like to add on that the negative that we think is negative is saving your life. Cancer saved your life. If you didn't have, say, cancer, you'd be dead. So the process, the autoimmune disease, all these bad labeled
it's your body talking to you, isn't it?
It's your body telling you you need to change, you need to shift. So I look at those things in a positive light now. Like it's telling me, oh, that's not okay.
And that's the gift, isn't it? It's that gift. It's like, once you allow it, illness, that's what this whole thing is about, changing perspective of illness, because illness isn't a bad thing. Illness is an opportunity for you to readjust the balance somewhere in your life that is out of whack.
Yes, it's a gift. It's a gift of awareness, of balance, exactly like you said. It's been a gift in my life and my family's. So
yeah, definitely. So if you're if you're stuck and out of balance, then do reach out to myself or to Holly or to anybody else on the summit or anybody else in our world, because you don't have to be on your own, and there's a lot of free stuff out there, and even just being part of our groups, isn't it, Holly? You can then shift your emotional set point a little bit, shift what you believe is possible, and then you just feel better. Just, you know, if you think that actually you're on a road to self-healing, you've just got to work it out like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You're going to feel a lot better than if you just think, oh, there's nothing I can do and I've got to sit and wait for things to get worse, because that's what my doctors told me. Exactly. There are other options.
Yeah, exactly. And I got better with the community. I got better by joining all these different pages. I got better by exactly what you said, by reaching out. It wasn't one person, and I never could have done this all on my own. So I never say I did it by myself. I didn't. And at some point I had to hire a functional doctor. So leaning on the support that's out there for you is worth gold, because it gives you your health back.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's that whole mind of being open. Just be open to whatever comes in, because if you know, I don't know, 10 years ago we've been talking about this stuff, I'd be, oh my god, you're talking absolute. But now I'm like, yeah, actually I know this is true. I know what you're saying is true. You're not the first person who's talked to me about heavy metal toxicity and parasites, so it's not the first time I've heard it. So therefore it becomes, well, if Holly's saying it and somebody else is saying it, it is a possibility that it could be your root cause as well. So if anything that we've talked about tonight is ringing some alarm bells with you, or even your curiosity is spiked a little bit, I would definitely recommend going chatting to Holly. Take her up on a 15-minute consultation, and just to see, half an hour consultation, and just to see where it leads, because it might be just in half an hour that's enough to shift something, or to get you to try something that actually starts you on your, you know, or moves you on your healing journey. I don't think if you're listening to this, you've already started it. So yeah, it's moving you forward and allowing your mind to be open to that a little bit more, and doing some belly thumping. Who would have thought I'd be doing that? That was quite cool. It definitely makes you
it wakes you up, doesn't it? It wakes up that. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Holly, where's the best place?
So thehealinghall.com is my website. It's probably the best place, because you can enter your email. There's a book now feature, so you can book that consultation. Also there, if you're on the mobile site, you'll have to go up to the 3 little lines at the top of the page to book now. So those are the ways to reach me. The consultations will be up for another couple of weeks for free. I'm doing that as a courtesy for the summit, because, you know, I have the information for people to heal, and I've never felt like I needed to keep it to myself. So that's why I'm offering the information. And if you heal and don't hire me, that's great. So I'm doing that to pass the message healing is possible, and you can take charge of your own health.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your story, all the ucky bits and the inspiring bits.
You're welcome.
It's a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.